Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Royal Shakespeare Theatre's main stage for this very special live lesson. Today we'll be exploring Shakespeare's tragedy Macbeth, as we do in rehearsals, as a play to be explored for performance. We will discuss the meaning of the text and what choices can be made, discovering together how we might approach the story and the language from a modern perspective. I am joined by Wills Wilson, the director of the RSC's 2023 production of Macbeth, and Reuben Joseph and Ailey Lone, who are playing Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. We've chosen to look at two pivotal scenes in the play, Act 1, Scene 7, and Act 2, Scene 2, which sit either side of the murder of King Duncan. As in any production, the creative team have made strong choices about how to stage these scenes, taking into account the shifting power dynamics between these two protagonists who are impacted by the world in which they exist. A world defined by war, the upholding of tradition, and a fear of the supernatural. A world where the breaking of the divine rights of kings will have dire consequences. Hello, so we are on the set of the current production of Macbeth, your production, Wills. And today we're going to be looking at two scenes, Act 1, Scene 7 and Act 2, Scene 2, between Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. Now, these scenes happen in between these scenes, the big thing happens, which is the killing of Duncan. So it's really, what's going to be really useful is seeing how the relationship develops over these two scenes. Now, I know that Macbeth writes a letter to Lady Macbeth in which he calls her my dearest partner of greatness. That's how he addresses her in the letter. Can you tell us a little bit about the relationship between Lady Macbeth and Macbeth at this point in the play?
Yeah, so when we meet these two characters together in the play, Macbeth has just returned from war, has already updated Lady Macbeth with the prophecy that he's encountered with Banquo from these witches on the heath, and almost very immediately, it doesn't require too much discussion in that first scene in which we see them together until they're on board with the idea of murdering, which to me suggests that there's a shorthand between these two. There's, I think he really means it when he says, "You are my dearest partner of greatness." There is a tie here that that's really solid and doesn't actually require a lot of chat. They've had time to build up a shorthand with each other.
Right, and Lady Macbeth, can you tell us particularly about this moment? So you're hosting, aren't you? You're hosting Duncan in your castle.
Yeah, Duncan's in our castle.
Yeah.
And he's just excused himself from dinner, and she knows that he's having doubts about their plan, and the idea that he might not follow through with this is, it's very aggravating for her.
Yeah.
So this discussion that we're about to see, she does play with so many different tactics to get him back on side. And they know each other that well, you know, they have such a strong connection together that she knows all the different ways that she can try and pull him back to do what she wants him to do, and also make him see that this is actually a good thing.
Yeah, the thing that needs to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
the timely thing.
Yeah.
I mean, in her eyes, I mean, it's just what a stroke of luck that King Duncan should, or in this production, we should say Queen Duncan. You've made that choice that it's played by a woman, which is, so we're going to use that pronoun. It's Queen Duncan. What a stroke of luck that she should be coming tonight to your. I mean, surely it must mean that the witches were right. So, leading on from what Ailey was saying about tactics, Wills, this is the kind of stuff that would be really useful to get your insight into as the director. Could you just elucidate for us just what kind of tactics that Lady Macbeth would be using on Macbeth and the kind of places in the text where that lands? What ways, what tools does she use to get him to do what she wants?
Yeah, she's brilliant. I mean, she's brilliant at it. She uses so many different tactics, and in quite a short amount of time, because Queen Duncan is at dinner wondering where the hosts are, and so there's a time pressure. You know, so often in these scenes there's time pressure, and in this one very much so. So she has to think on her feet. She has to think fast. She knows her husband really well, so she knows exactly how to push his buttons, I guess. So she does things like she sort of demeans him. You know, she says, "Were you drunk?" why do you look green? He says he's had golden opinions showered on him by the Queen, and she says he looks green and pale because he's cowardly. So she calls him a coward.
Yeah.
From this time, such I count thy love is a kind of punishing. She says she's going to take her love away from him. So, you know, if you do this, you know, I won't love you anymore.
Yeah.
And we know how strong their bond is. She questions his manhood and his courage, and remember he's a soldier.
Yeah.
So
that's
you know,
gonna really
The
hurt.
stinging,
It's
yeah.
gonna sting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a big part of his identity
Yeah.
that he's brave, and yes, belittles him. And he says "prithee peace," which is kind of Shakespearean for "shut up." You know,
Yeah.
he comes right back at her because they're a match for each other, these
Yeah.
two. He says, you know, I am a man. I do everything that a man should do. And she's really good at like taking a word and sort of twisting it and throwing it back. So she says, okay, so if you're a man, then what beast was it then who talked to me before? You know, so she goes sort of from man to beast. And she does that quite a lot. She kind of, you know, says you're animal-like, you're a beast, you're lower than human in that kind of context. So again, you know, really goading. And that's, she's clever though, because that's not the only thing she does. She also sort of cajoles him, and she uses softer tactics as well. She sort of she says, come on, you know, we can do this. She sort of bolsters his resolve as well.
There is a kind of reassuring quality to some of her text, isn't there?
Yeah, and she sort of paints a picture of how easy it will be when she says, you know, Duncan will be asleep, I'll do this bit, you do that bit. She sort of, reassures him exactly that it's going to be really simple. And she's very good at all the details, so she sort of, you know, gets him to come into her, the way she's seeing the world. And she uses her sexuality as well. She says, oh, you would be a man if you did this. And this whole idea of being a man has also got a sort of sexual aspect to it, as well as a courageous aspect to it as well. So yeah, she does so many things and changes like line by line.
Which is quite a challenge to perform, and also I should imagine quite an exciting challenge as well, because there's so many sort of moments to find within that text. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that in terms of any lines that particularly speak to you about how Lady Macbeth uses this scene to get him on side?
I think overall the excitement and the fun that it is playing this scene is because of all those different tactics. You know, it isn't just one thing that she sticks to. They know how to play each other. They know how to, you know, soften and use things that, for me, the one that feels like a massive sort of blow for Macbeth is she uses the death of their child to really sort of drive that knife in of, I understand what it's like to have had a baby and breastfed a baby, and if I had promised to do what you've promised to do to me, I would have no issue then, you know, bashing that baby's brains out.
I mean,
Because this promise is so strong, and it's so disrespectful to her that he's going back on his word.
Disrespectful to their relationship, to their contract. They, you know, that they are married and they've made the decision to do this together. Just early on in the day, they made that decision. It's so immediate, as you say, Wills. It happens in such a short amount of time, and suddenly he's changed his mind, and she pulls that, which I'm assuming is maybe how conscious she is of that. I don't know. I mean, it's a grief that she will be going through.
Yeah.
And
both of them will.
both of them, exactly.
And what a vulnerable, horrible tactic to use. But in reading that, rather than scream, "How dare you? What's wrong with you?" Macbeth knows there is some element of truth to that and responds with, "But what if it doesn't go well? If we should fail?" Still, it's not. It's even after all that and all the tactics used, it's still not no, because she deploys them so well.
But it becomes like a question. You know, what if we should fail? So she knows he's come that much further. It's like, oh, now you're asking me what if it doesn't work? Okay, so he's sort of accepted the general principle it might happen.
There is also the time pressure, you know, as Will said, of the evening, but also Duncan's only here for now. So they have, you know, she leaves tomorrow. So there's only this night, it's only now, it has to happen, or we miss our shot.
Yeah.
it's all of these things that make all of it
Yes.
really exciting. to play.
Exciting to play in the moment. I'm going to ask you now, Ruben, where do you think in the scene his mind is made up? You know, is there a specific place that you feel that's it? Or does it change from night to night?
Night to night in the performance,
Yeah.
it definitely feels like it slides about. And in terms of the kind of more mean-spirited tactics that she uses against him, it feels like any one of those. Some nights they might bounce off me. Sometimes they don't penetrate. Some nights they get really under the skin. But in any case, textually to support this, after I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage, prithee peace. I dare do all that may become a man. He's still not
not
interested
sure.
and
Yeah.
still holding his ground there. But it isn't until I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from her boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you had done to this. That is a huge emotional blow to receive. But still, it feels like it then, like Will's just said, it becomes a question. Then it's not again. Stop. There's something there that turns in them.
Yeah.
So across that section of text, it feels like there has to be a change. Which point specifically, I don't know, but we find it in the playing and it changes.
Yeah.
And she still has some persuasion
She
to
does.
do. So she then has a whole other speech, you know, oh, this is how we'll do it, don't worry, I'll look after this bit. It'll be easy, what can you and I not perform on the unguarded Duncan, makes it sound, you know, and so she still feels he's not there yet.
Yeah.
From that point, it's maybe still. And then even still, Macbeth again questions, will it not be received when we have marked with blood?
He needs
There's
the
still
reassurance.
questions.
Yeah,
reassurance.
he needs her to say,
It'll be fine.
Yes,
you know, who dares
exactly.
receive it other? Nobody's going to, because we are the host and hostess. It can't be us. I mean, it's brilliant. Like, she seems quite in control in this scene.
She knows where she's going,
Yeah.
for sure. She's got her aim in view, hasn't she? And she has all these different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
And then I'm settled and bent up, so then we really know a conclusion has been made.
Yeah, so a big journey in that
Yes,
scene
huge,
from
huge.
I'm not to we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this would be a really good opportunity and moment to see the scene in performance. So, I mean, as much as you can but we have got the set today. So set yourselves where you are, and Wills, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, great. Well, let's explore it. Maybe, you know, for now, just really play with all those tactics and think about, you know, maybe when you're close and when you're separate. You know, you don't need to stick to what we've rehearsed before. You can explore it in the moment. And
Where should we say the dining room is?
it probably is easiest for the dining room to be
Up
from
there.
Be there.
Yeah.
Nice one, okay.
Yeah.
Can we stick you?
Oh, yes,
you
please.
this?
Thank you very much.
Lovely, thank you.
Are we just going from how now? What news?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. How now? What news?
She's almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Has she asked for me?
No, you not. She has.
We will proceed no further in this business. She hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in the newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk when you dressed yourself? Has it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale in what it did so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemed the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. To be more than what you were, you'd be so much more than man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and at their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I would, while she were smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from her boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn as you have done to this.
if we should fail?
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto rather shall her day's hard journey soundly invite her. Her two servants will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory the water of the brain shall be a fume. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lies in a death. What cannot you now perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon her spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quill?
Bring forth men children only. For thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood the sleepy two of Owen chamber and used the very daggers that they had done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our grief and clamour roar upon her death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Thank you, actors. It's really interesting to have that conversation and then to watch the scene, thinking about all of those tactics that she's using. Wills, would there be anything that we could look at maybe at the last part of the scene? Maybe we could play that last picture one more time with pushing one of them a bit further.
Great.
Maybe something to do with how it's the baby, isn't it? The moment, the imagery of that, how that changes things for him and how hard it is for him to make that decision, come to that agreement. Should we look at that, just that last section once more?
From I have given such.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
With that really emotionally, right, this is the big guns. You're getting the big guns out, you know? Like, this is the moment where, in Wills, you might want to step in now about, you know, you really use that and let it be really hard to convince him. Like, you've got to reel him in even more, you know?
Yeah. So, well, maybe he crumbles more. Maybe it's a crumble with the talk of the child you weren't expecting. And then
it really breaks him down emotionally, or in some capacity we see that physically.
Yeah,
really
maybe,
profound.
and then she. So it's almost that thing that you knock somebody down, and then you're the one that pulls them up and goes like, "Come on!" Because then she says, "But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we won't fail. I'll show you how." So maybe we, go for absolutely, you know, the belly punch, and you really get him, and then. In a way, he's very vulnerable then for you to go, and, you know, come on, and actually build him up. So it's quite, I mean, they do have sort of toxic element. This couple, you know, that's not a nice thing to do to somebody, but it does make them very easy to manipulate. So perhaps
it's like a coercive, controlling relationship. Is what I've certainly thought while you talking like that. And also something about patronising him somehow. You know, it's sort of very simple language, isn't it? Like, we're going to do this.
It could be that. It could be that.
You know, there could be that in it.
Yeah. And then from that vulnerability, you're sort of looking to her to lead the way. You know.
She's so
Will
confidently
it be all right? Will it be all right? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. So I think maybe if we just like break Macbeth a bit, a bit more, and then see like.
As if up until this point, all tactics used might have not actually resonated
not
too
really.
deeply at all, and then.
Let's see.
And you absolutely put the knife in.
Let's see that.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Do you mind if we took it back a little bit before?
Yeah, where do you want to go from? Prithee Peace? Or
Prithee Peace,
Great.
Prithee Peace. I dare do all that may become a man.
who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you'd be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and at their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I would, while she were smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from her boneless gums and dashed the brains out had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail,
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto rather shall her day's hard journey soundly invite her, her two servants will I, with wine and wassail, so convince that memory, the water of the brain shall be a fume. When in swinish sleep, their drenched natures lies in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon her spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
bring forth men children only. For thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood the sleepy two of her own chamber and used the very daggers that they had done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make her grief and clamour roar upon her death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairer show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Thank you so much for taking that note.
Lovely, well
And
done.
It was love. It was
Really
really
well done.
Did it feel? Did it feel different? Or
It felt, it felt like a gentle coax, and as brutal as the tactic was,
Yeah.
the arrival at the conclusion felt gentler, almost in that the way that you built us back up in terms of how the tactics then became soothing.
I really enjoyed when you said, oh, it's quite simple language, and then you really took that on to be like, hey, it's okay, we'll do it like this. You know, that really, I was like, oh yeah, she's managing this person who's clearly like vulnerable and has this grief, and she's sort of managing him in a way that she's going to get what she wants. But it also had love in it as well, that this relationship is it's not a simple relationship. It's not necessarily, it's not healthy in so many ways, but they do love and need each other. You know, if they didn't, then the story would not be interesting, would it?
Yeah, it so quickly goes from, you know, that really hard emotional tactic of this is going to really cause pain, talking about the loss of their child and using that as ammo. And then, you know, a couple of sentences later, it is that but we're fine. It's so fast.
And it bonds them together so much because you've seen the vulnerability and then putting back together again. Then when you go off together, you're a unit again. You start off as two individuals in this scene at odds with each other, like snapping at each other, and somehow or other you've gone off and you're together again.
And then next time we see them, it's Act 2, Scene 2, and the big things happened. You know, the thing that you've dreamt, you wanted, you've desired, this chance, this opportunity has happened, and you've done it. And now the relationship looks very different again. So we're going to go from, I know there's that you come in and you have a moment on your own, but we're going to go from I've done the deed, from that part of the text. And we're going to think about the environment. Because I know, Wills, you were talking about how in the whole of Macbeth, the whole play is punctured by the fact that what is seen and unseen, the pressure of the environment on the people in this world. And of course, in this scene, they're in a castle, everybody's asleep, and there's a lot of pressures, environmental pressures around that. And I wondered if we could have a look at the scene, getting rid of some of those to start with. So we're setting it maybe in a safe place, you know, a place where, I mean, let's imagine for a moment what their bedroom might be like. And if they are a couple that are in love, they're a functioning, happy couple, they just so happen to have done this terrible thing.
Yeah.
But let's play that scene with that feeling of safety, and then let's look at what happens when we pile on all of those sort of exterior pressures on them.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be. It's interesting. It's it's like a little experiment, I guess, to say, well, how do those pressures affect the scene? If we take them all away, then maybe then have a go and put them all back together again. Then it'll maybe just help us see exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, let's try it in the very safe, the bedroom, and maybe the murder chamber is quite far off. Is in another part of the castle. Yeah. Say we've locked the door, I guess, and so nobody's going to come in and discover you.
Yeah. In terms of sound as well, the safe environment that we're creating, is it that, this room is so isolated, so it doesn't matter if we're being loud and having a discussion that there's no fear of anybody hearing us.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the noises, again, like there will be noises, but they're outside, I guess. Well, let's see. Let's see. We've never done, I don't know that we've ever done this before, so it's going to be an experiment, a journey of discovery. Let's just explore. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay. I'll start from coming in upstage here. I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark. Who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Ben.
Oh, this is a sorry sight.
Foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one that laughed in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them. But they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
The one cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
Wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways. So, it'll make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the ravelled sleep of care. Death of each day's life. So labour's bath, balm of hot minds. Great nature's second course. Chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more. To all the house. Glass have murdered sleep. And therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why were they then? Did you unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things? Go get some water. Wash this filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look upon it again, I dare not.
In form of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If she do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? Oh, what hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. O great Neptune's ocean, wash this blood clean from my hand. No, this, my hand will rather the multitudinous seas in Carnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south gate. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark! More knocking. To bed, lest occasion call us show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. How wouldst thou couldst.
Brilliant, well done, you two. Well
How
done.
weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And also,
it feels
suddenly
so wrong.
we stumbled on the fact back to our chamber, and we were in the chamber.
Yeah.
But as an exercise, it's worth doing because it allows us then to kind of play with what the opposite of that might be.
Yeah, you did
So-
brilliantly
yeah, it did.
because
It
it's
was-
not easy to
It's
do.
hard
Yeah.
because it's so unsafe, and what they're talking about is so much more interesting when it's not, when it's a safe environment. It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
we did
Well,
it.
We
I
did
know.
it.
I was conflating. I think the safety of this space actually with that we still have murdered somebody.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
still the danger there, but
Yeah.
it totally undercut. And I midway through kind of realized, oh no, this is not the
Yeah.
level. I still have murdered the queen. It should still
So
have this
let's-
energy. But it also made it made the sections of text that otherwise seem a bit more as he's unraveling it, almost rationalized them a little bit.
Yeah, you took more time, both
Yeah.
of you, over
Yeah, yeah.
everything. And that section as well, you know, you were sort of thinking about different ways to describe sleep in a much more kind of thoughtful, academic way, almost, you know, because you didn't have the kind of, I don't know, the stakes were so much lower,
Yeah.
is what you might say.
And let's raise the stakes, you know. So let's in our you know, we've got that much longer on the live lesson. So let's think about how do we what are those things that we're going to put in place to get those stakes higher and to give you something to play against. And so we're thinking about Duncan, like where Duncan is. We're going to make a decision about that, and make a decision about whether or not people are going to hear you or not. And there's a knocking, isn't there, where that might
Yes.
be. So, Bills, would you position those things for us,
Yeah.
sort of so we can imagine it in the
Well,
space, and then we'll run the scene.
It sounds like Duncan's chamber is very near because Lady Macbeth goes off and she's on again really quickly, having been to the chamber and done something. So yeah, I think we'll just put it down there as if it's just there. So the thought, I suppose, of Duncan covered in blood
It's just behind that door.
is literally. Oh, actually, yes, it's just behind there. Exactly. So keep it all really near. The knocking, I'll do from down here as well, so that you've got that. Again, quite close. Also, I think, you know, these lines that are broken, you've got all these lines, haven't you, which are, did you
No,
not speak
speak
when,
when,
now,
no.
as I descended, hark, Donalbain, this is a sorry sight. I think if we think of those broken lines as one line broken up rather than as separate lines.
Give it,
Great.
pace across those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
I
lot of
think
shared lines in that
Yeah.
section. They're finishing each of the sentences.
tiny
Yeah.
words. So I think that has a sort of breath, it gives you a sort of breathlessness already, which, you know, it's there in in the text already if we treat them as one line and we don't put any gaps in, you know.
And geographically, in the space that we find each other, if Duncan's door's over there, and we find each other in this space, is this space quite open to people coming in? Is it echoey as well? Like every word is like is carrying up the stairs to.
Yeah, there's lots and
the
lots
people.
of sort of S's and ease and sleep and slept and deed and scream, and so that gives, and sorry sight, it's and dressed them again to sleep. It gives it a kind of whispered. It suggests a sort of whispered quality, doesn't it? So I think we could think that you could be overheard. Like if Duncan's bedroom's down there, then you know.
Malcolm, there's Donald Bang.
Yeah, they're all really
there,
close, as if this is a sort of a sort of a stairwell, maybe, where there are lots of
entrances,
rooms,
and lots of
very
staircases.
close.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like it would be echoey, doesn't it? Like it probably is echoey, and everyone's going to be waking up soon.
Yes.
Like the knocking at the door that we hear is Macduff come to wake up Duncan. So there's a time pressure. There's time pressure and pressure of being discovered are really high.
I'll add one more thing. Is during this scene, we see Lady Macbeth transformed because you also see that we witness it. So the text, how the text changes for her as well, and that she sort of borrows some of his some of his broken lines. There's a lot of, you know, again, it gets, the rhythm gets quite erratic. Yeah, that would be a good thing to kind of mark as well, because they both enter the room of hell, really, and are changed forever.
Yeah, and every time there's a hark as well, it's that thing of the noise makes you jump in as a surprise, and we don't really, you know, you don't need to leave a gap for that. It's like, what's that?
Let's see it.
Let's do it.
Are we
Let's
ready?
do it. Yep.
We've got to know what we're doing.
If I'm going to knock, I better knock from the right place.
Yeah, why don't we? Yeah.
Shall I knock from over
And
here?
so can I just double check? Are we then still doing that is Duncan's chamber here?
Yes.
Okay.
So I should be coming from. Sorry, coming from this
Nothing, that
direction.
was me because I was going.
No, it's okay.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream, the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
No.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
Oh, this is a sorry
I
sight.
foolish not to see a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder, sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep the minutes of the ravelled sleep of care, death of each day's life, so labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast. Still it cried, sleep no more. To all the house, Glamis have murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, do you unbend your noble strength to think so brain sickly of things? Go, get some water. Wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look upon it again, I dare not.
In form of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If she do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? Oh, what hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this, my hand will rather the multitude in the seas incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south gate. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy hath left you unattended. More knocking to bed, lest occasion call us, show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou could.
So different. Well done, yeah. Playing those external pressures, it's like a melting pot, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and also just sort of looking, whenever either of you look to see who might be coming, or is there a door opening or a creak or anything, we just feel it in the audience.
Tension and the desperation that it's not been what Macbeth wanted it to be. You know, that they've secured this thing. It's a desperate act.
And we had in the last scene we had this picture.
Yes.
I'll lure the sleepy grooms with wine, and it'll be fine. And what can't we do? We'll perform. You know, it had all these, and this is the reality. Is messy and scrappy and frightening, and it doesn't go to plan. You know, so it's such a contrast.
Yes, it is.
And what's another thing that's quite interesting is that in the first scene, like Lady Macbeth has lots of the lines, and Macbeth hardly has any in comparison. In this, it's sort of switched over.
Yeah.
That you're trying to contain him, but actually, really, you can't. You know, it's gone beyond that.
He's
and
like
you're frightened.
an unexploded bomb in this scene, because at any point he could just let everybody know that it's done.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we're going to conclude. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for all of your fantastic insights into the play. It's been an absolutely brilliant and really useful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
So, thank you to Wills, Ruben and Ailey for giving us a brilliant insight into the ways in which one might explore the text in the rehearsal room to help bring it to life for contemporary audiences. And thank you for joining us today for this live lesson. We hope you found the session insightful. We also have lots of other resources and films in our Shakespeare Learning Zone, which we hope you find useful for your studies of Macbeth. Goodbye. And thanks for tuning in to our special series of live lessons from the Royal Shakespeare Company.